Welcome. Hello. Oh, I just love this group of us that have either struggled with or are still struggling with low self esteem, low self confidence. And today we wanted to talk about not taking things personally, which I found very difficult to do, Sandy, when I was younger because I was so programmed to care about everybody else. It was really tough to get out of that. But as I started to gain more tools and hang out with people like you, Sandy, I started to see that it didn't have to keep being that way. Um, I really just cared too much about what other people thought because in my mind, I was positive by doing that, that I would do all the right things so that you would want to be my friend and hang out with me. And I think also for me, moving around so much as a kid was just a formula of being sensitive and moving around too much. It's like you just kind of get like a ping pong ball, in one of those games, pinball rather, bounced around. But I think one of the main things I learned as I got older is that people would tell me what they would do in my situation. And what I learned is that they had no idea what my life was like moving around the globe as a little kid. I got to see a lot of cultures, hear a lot of languages, eat different food, had different friends. I mean, I became pretty resilient. And then somebody older would tell me, what I would do is just stay in this one town. And that's like, well, I've already moved around a lot. So people have their ideas from their life experience, and it's almost always going to be pretty different than ours. So that helped me just to remember that they grew up either in one town or they had an alcoholic, abusive mother or father. And all those things make for a different mix of life experiences. And you can't take anybody else's advice unless they've had a similar story. They've been through it, they've lived through it, they've grown through it, and they have some wisdom to share, in my opinion.
That's exactly right. I mean, I was always kind of really super sensitive when I was a lot younger, being overweight and being told all the time that I was never going to do this or never going to do that. So it made me second guess everything that I did.
Yeah.
And then, what I started doing when people would say something and I'd feel that little twinge of, oh, I go, well, exactly what do you mean by that? I would ask them, please clarify the meaning of what you said. And they'd look at me like, you don't know? I'm like, no, just
Well,
please.
yeah. Well, how could you? I mean, we don't know each other's backgrounds and places
And
of coming from or whatever you call it, perspectives.
exactly. And once they explained it, I'd say, oh, well, let me explain why that doesn't pertain to me. And I would, explain back. So you have to remember that sometimes what they're saying is more about them and their insecurities than what it is about you. And in our world today, full of people just feel like they have a right to say whatever to you, and in the chaos and stuff like that, you have to remember that their rudeness isn't about you.
Yeah.
And that was really hard for me to do because
Yeah.
I felt like everything was about me because I felt like that my whole life is that everything I did was wrong or everything I tried to do was wrong. So I must be making mistakes as an adult, right? But you don't ever want to be said, you're wrong.
Right.
None of us do,
Right. Yeah.
but you have to be true and know your own worth. Because if you know that you're totally perfect the way you are, then things aren't going to bother you as much. No, it's not saying we're human. I mean, we're going to have a little, moments that kind of sneak up, even as a coach. I can tell you right now, even as a coach, I've had instances where someone says, well, I think this is a better way to do that. And for a slight second, I go, in my mind, who the hell are you? And then I
Mhm,
go, oh, could you explain that to me?
mhm.
Because you
That's
don't know everything, and
right, right, and, the people that I have found, especially in medicine, where I used to work, there's something about people who feel that they are right that gives them a boost of status or whatever, perceived status. And it's sometimes this bravado that comes up that uh, is difficult to watch if you have come from a place like I have of seeing a lot of different people,
Mhm.
different cultures, as I said, and different environments that I became more open to different people's viewpoints on life all over the globe. And to see somebody say, no, this is the only way. How can that possibly be with 6 billion people on the planet?
Exactly.
So just to take it with a grain of salt, that's my mother was a perfect example, and she did it because she was in World War II and very badly affected by it, but she thought that her way was the right way because it helped her stay in control of the chaotic life. I mean, Hitler and all of that was insane, right? So it was her way of staying in control of her life, but that was still only one way to look at life. And I can never imagine how horrifying it was for her. But just the ability to stay flexible. I mean, I like what you just said, this sort of combination of, well, I felt right at times. And guess what? A year later, kind of opened up to that other person's perspective, maybe not taking in the whole perspective, but a piece of it and adding it to my life experience. So I feel more resilient. And like I've said, just feeling like life is kind of an experiment, you know, try this out, see if it works for me. It doesn't have to be right for the rest of time.
Exactly. You either have a fixed mindset, which means you are closed to anything anybody else has to say, or you have a growth mindset, which means that you're open and you're flexible. And right now is probably the most polarizing time in the
Yeah.
United States
Yeah.
because politics really brings out the worst in a lot of people. And I'll be real honest, my husband and I are affiliated with different parties. And I'm not going to say which ones. I don't want any hate
Yeah.
mail,
You don't, you don't need
but
that.
we have learned. It took us 17 years. We've been together 17. It took us 17 years to actually be able to say, I understand where you're coming from. And it's okay to
Wow.
understand, and it's okay to be different, and it's okay to have a different opinion, but it's not okay to force your opinion on someone else. And when you take things personally, that's what you feel is happening to you. They're
Mhm.
forcing their opinion
Mhm.
on you, or they're just reinforcing your insecurities that you don't want to talk about.
Mhm.
And that's the one thing I think that we need more of is understanding and the ability to
Wow.
listen
Wow.
and listen to understand, not to reply. Because when someone's trying to tell you their point of view, your mind's going, nope, that's not right.
That's not
Nope,
right. I
I have
can't wait
something
to
different.
tell when as soon as they shut up, I can't wait to tell them what I think.
Or you see and you actually start to do this. Just, 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 just sit back and enjoy the enlightenment sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't have to agree with what they say. Ask them what they meant.
yeah, that's
Have a
great.
conversation.
Ask them what they meant. I also like to say sometimes, "Huh, let me think about that. That's a new
Mhm.
perspective." And and it's even better when I genuinely feel that. But it buys me some time to have
Mhm.
a new idea that maybe yesterday I thought was, "Well, that's not right."
Yeah.
Because if it's somebody I like, or even if I don't, but if it's somebody I like, it it gives me more flexibility to open up to an idea that I haven't heard before, or, hearing, like you said, their history behind it. How did you come to that, you know? It's a lovely way to communicate and,
And
also be strong in yourself.
it shows interest, that you're interested in what they have to say, even though you may not agree with it. When I was in the corporate world and I was the president of operations of this big self-storage company, every conference I went to, I was the only female.
Yeah,
And I'd
well,
walk in the room, and this is what I usually got. "Honey, could you get me some coffee?" And I would go get the coffee because why not, right? But then finally I said to them, "Do you not understand that I have an opinion about what you're saying too?"
yeah. Ooh,
They
that's
said,
good.
"Oh, we never thought of you that way." So that
Huh.
happens, what people think. They have a preconceived notion of what you are.
Mhm.
And if they picture you as closed off, they're gonna force it on you. If you're pictured as easy target, they're gonna force it on you. So, the thing is you have to be open to the possibilities of what someone says, whether
That's
you like it or not.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you can always go, "Yep, I was right. That that isn't gonna work for me." And just keep an open mind, I guess.
Unfortunately, we don't have mute buttons for us, right? So and if you're in the United States, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Mm.
great conversation. I love these, brainstorming and coming up with, our best tips, so hopefully that's helpful. And by the way, I had a lot of fun with the live I did the other day on the Deschutes River. I just was there showing this beautiful location. I don't know if you saw it, Sandy, but it just reminded me really of how beautiful we are. And
Mhm.
just a reminder, please keep hanging with us because we know how amazing you are. And we just want you to know that too.
And plus, we're each going individually into this group, during the week. I think I did mine last Friday, but it'll probably be Wednesday this time.
Okay.
And we all just want to make sure that you guys understand that we care about you and we're concerned about your well being. And we want to make sure that you know that we're here for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. And when a group starts to grow, that we want to make sure that there's support. And if you guys need anything, you know where we're at. You should just
Yeah.
drop comments or something, and we're not going to sell to you. Right.
Right. Right. That's our mission to help. So thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.